The National Conference is therefore being convened to engage in intense introspection about the political and socio-economic challenges confronting our nation, and to chart the best and most acceptable way for the resolution of such challenges in the collective interest of all the constituent parts of our fatherland. This is coming together under one roof to confer and build a fresh national consensus for the amicable resolution of issues that still cause friction amongst our people must be seen as an essential part of the process of building a more united, stronger, and progressive nation. We cannot continue to fold our arms and assume that things will straighten themselves out in due course instead of taking practical steps to overcome impediments on our path to true nationhood, rapid development, and national prosperity. For many years, we have discussed and argued over various issues concerning our national existence and well-being. Most of this national discourse has been conducted through the mass media, both print and electronic. More recently, the advent of the age of ICT and social media has greatly enlarged the space for the discussion of our country's future. Many more young and articulate Nigerians who previously had little access to the traditional mass media have now joined the conversation, motivated by patriotic concern for good governance, peace, stability, justice, equity, fairness, and the harmonious coexistence of the diverse groups that make up our great nation. Dear compatriots, my administration is convening this national conference today because we believe that we must assume responsibility for ensuring that the long-running national debate on the best way forward for our country is not in vain. It is our expectation that participants in this conference will patriotically articulate and synthesize our people's thoughts, views, and recommendations for a stronger, more united, peaceful, and politically stable Nigeria, force the broadest possible national consensus in support of those recommendations, and strive to ensure that they are given the legal and constitutional backing to shape the present and the future of our beloved fatherland. In inaugurating this national conference today, we are not unmindful of the arguments of those who say that we do not need such a conference since we already have an elected parliament and elected government in place. As cogent as that argument may sound, I have chosen to act on the sincere conviction that in the truly democratic nation we are striving to build, we must never ignore the loudly expressed views of the majority of our people. I've heard the majority say that we need to rebuild trust by involving them in the process of developing a guiding document of our national political relationships, which is more acceptable to all sections of the country. I've heard our people say that we need to openly and frankly discuss our problems and seek acceptable solutions instead of allowing them to fester and remain sources of perennial conflicts. I've also heard them say that as the elected representatives of our people, we must never arrogate to ourselves all knowledge and wisdom regarding the development of our country. And I am in full agreement with our people. The power we hold is, without question, in trust for the people. Sovereignty belongs to the people. Their voices must be heard and factored into every decision we take on their behalf. This national conference is a very important avenue for the voices of our people to be heard. Our people have yearnings and desires that need to be discussed. Their representatives at this conference are neither usurping the role of the National Assembly nor the executive. They are complementing us in our march towards a greater and stronger union. Over the years, well-meaning Nigerians have drawn attention to inadequacies in our current constitution. Some have described it as a military-inspired document which does not take into full consideration the genuine desires and wishes of the people. The phrase in the preamble that says, "we, the people," has been variously criticized as being misleading because, according to the critics, the Constitution was not written by the people. There are also those who believe that the Constitution is not our problem, but the political will to faithfully implement it for the peace and progress of Nigeria. While opinions on the matter can be as diverse as rain showers, I believe that irrespective of our personal views on the issue, no one can deny the fact that every constitution is a living document that needs to be revised and improved upon from time to time. The United States, which is the model democracy in the eyes of many, has amended its constitution 27 times since it was first adopted in 1787. Some of our compatriots also believe that because we have held several conferences in the past, we do not need to hold another one. I do not share that view at all. A deeper look will reveal that the challenges we faced before each of the preceding national conferences were different. The challenges of 1956 are certainly not the challenges of 2014, and definitely not the challenges that the nation will face in the years to come. It makes sense, therefore, that as the challenges before us evolve, we must be constant and proactive in our search for fresh solutions. We cannot continue to provide yesterday's solutions for today's problems. This conference is open for us to table our thoughts and positions on issues and make recommendations that will advance our togetherness. The issues raised from form of government, structure of government, the evolution of powers, revenue sharing, resource control, state and local government creation, boundary adjustment, state police and fiscal federalism, local government elections, to indigenship, gender equality, and children's rights, amongst others. We must not approach these issues with suspicion and antagonism. Rather, we should be open-minded and work to achieve what is best for Nigeria. Even though you come to the conference as nominees and representatives of different interest groups, I urge you all to make a more united, stronger, indivisible, and prosperous Nigeria your preoccupation and reference point at this national gathering. Whatever the pressure on you may be, I call upon you to put the best interests of Nigeria before all other sectional or group interests. Indeed, I am quite worried when I hear people say that some participants in this national conversation are coming here to defend and promote ethnic or clannish agenda. It is very regrettable that there are persons who still believe that we cannot undertake any collective task in our country without the hindrance of ethnic rivalry, even after 100 years of nationhood. This conference gives us an opportunity to prove such persons wrong, and I believe it will. As we start a new century of nationhood, we have an obligation to reshape and redirect our country for the benefit of our children. There should be no room for divisive cleavages and ethnic zingoism. There should be no room for selfish consideration that defeats the purpose of national progress. There should be room only for the national interest. In the 60s, our country was ranked along with some developing countries, including India, Malaysia, and South Korea. Today, those countries have moved far ahead of us in several areas. My expectation is that the outcome of this conference will be a positive turning point for our country's development. We must seize this opportunity to cement the cleavages and fault lines that tend to separate us. we must relaunch our country. I know the task before you is onerous, but there must be only one winner. And there can only be one winner if we do everything right, and that winner must be Nigeria.